Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting France and Slovakia between the 13th and the 19th of June. Apart from bilateral meets in both the European nations, the PM will also take part in the G7 summit and tech and other events. At least 30 people killed in clashes with security forces in and around Muzaffarabad. India slams Islamabad for committing atrocities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Lebanon says at least 8 killed in Tyre strike before Israel's evacuation warning for the entire port city. The attack carried out despite Trump and Iran warning Tel Aviv against targeting Lebanon. And the US President expresses confidence that his country could be sealing a deal with Iran within days. The latest in Donald Trump's over 30 claims that an end of the West Asia war is close at hand. Now, at the invitation of the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be undertaking an official visit to France from the 13th to the 14th of June. That is in Nice, and 16th and 19th of the same month as well, to Evian and to Paris, as also to Slovakia from the 14th to the 16th of June. The Ministry of External Affairs has said that in the first leg of his visit, Prime Minister Modi will visit Nice for a bilateral meeting with President Macron on the 14th of June. Both the leaders will review the full spectrum of the India-France bilateral relationship, which was elevated to the level of a special global strategic partnership earlier this year. In Nice, both the leaders will also jointly inaugurate the Bharat Innovates event, which will bring together top innovation startups and venture capital funds from India, France and other countries. On the second leg of his visit, at the invitation of Prime Minister of Slovak Republic, Robert Fico, Prime Minister Modi will pay a state visit to the Slovak Republic from the 14th to the 16th of June. The PM will hold talks with Prime Minister Fico and explore new avenues of cooperation. He will also meet President Pellegrini on the third leg of his visit. Again, he'll be back in France, where he'll participate in the G7 summit in Evian on the 16th and 17th of June. During the summit, the PM will exchange views with G7 leaders and those from invited partner countries and international organizations. And on the final leg of his visit, Prime Minister will be visiting Paris on the 18th of June for further bilateral engagements and to attend the Viva Tech Summit, which is Europe's largest technology and startup event. Now, 12 people have been killed and dozens wounded. In fact, 30, that's the count that's gone up, in clashes between police and members of an activist group in the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir region. In Muzaffarabad, supporters of the Joint Awami Action Committee and anti-Pakistan government movement demanding economic and governance reforms had vowed to press ahead with protests days after Pakistani authorities banned the group under the pretext of anti-terrorism laws. Members of the Joint Awami Action Committee have called their listing as a terror group an act of oppression. They added that they are demonstrating for legitimate economic and political rights. Pakistani forces have arrested more than 70 members over the weekend. And this has prompted India to slam Pakistan over the ongoing unrest and police brutality in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Addressing a weekly media briefing, India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson said that India hopes the international community will take note of the situation and hold Pakistan accountable for its actions.
It is a desperate attempt by Pakistan to cover up its own failings and deflect attention away from its human rights abuses. There are reports of police brutality, which you would have seen. There are several reports in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, in which several people have been killed. There are several more who have been injured. We hope the international community will hold Pakistan accountable for its misdeeds and its abuses.
And India slammed Pakistan at the United Nations Security Council as well for weaponizing Afghanistan's landlocked status and carrying out deadly airstrikes which have killed hundreds of civilians so far. Speaking at the UNSC on the situation in Afghanistan, India's envoy to the UN, P. Harish, said Pakistan's denial of transit access for Afghan traders amounts to unprecedented trade and transit terrorism. He also flagged concerns raised by the UN assistance mission in Afghanistan over Pakistan's campaign of military airstrikes that have led to blockade of key trade routes and disrupted livelihoods.
We lend our voice again in re-emphasizing the importance of incentivizing positive actions. The political reality of Afghanistan has changed in the last 5 years, and the current UN sanctions regime must take that into account. The UN and the international community need policy instruments that aim to benefit the people of Afghanistan and nudge policy in the right direction, rather than only wielding tools of punishment that are yielding diminishing returns. The international community must engage with all stakeholders across all formats. Pakistan's campaign of military airstrikes against Afghanistan is causing huge civilian casualties and sufferings to the Afghan people. We reiterate Secretary General's deep concern at civilian casualties caused by airstrikes, cross-border firing, and targeted killings as detailed in UNAMA reports. We support the Secretary General's call urging compliance with obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, and ensuring protection of civilians. We also support UNAMA's earlier calls for investigation to ensure accountability, prevent recurrence, and uphold victims' rights. Such unconscionable acts of violence are a blatant assault on Afghanistan's sovereignty and a threat to the region's peace and stability. India strongly condemns the airstrikes on Afghan territory.
The ambassador also slammed Islamabad's decision to refer to groups inside its own borders as Fitna al-Hindustan as nothing but officially sponsored misinformation dressed in religious terminology.
Coming up with official notifications directing Pakistan's government agencies to start referring to groups inside its own borders as Fitna al-Hindustan is nothing but officially sponsored misinformation and disinformation dressed in religious terminology. This is an outcome of an organized factory of hate coming from the deep state of Pakistan, which aims to keep their citizens in a state of permanent hostility with India in order to perpetuate their stay in power and control of national resources and detract them from core political and economic problems. The de facto coup by the military through the 27th Constitutional Amendment is only its most recent manifestation.
Prime Minister Modi held a telephonic conversation on Tuesday with the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. The two leaders exchanged views on the evolving security situation in West Asia. The PM expressed deep concern over the escalation of tensions and reiterated the call for de-escalation, dialogue and diplomacy for restoration of peace and stability. Prime Minister Modi also thanked the Emir of Kuwait for his personal attention to the continued well-being and safety of a large Indian community in Kuwait. Now, Lebanon's health ministry has said that an Israeli airstrike on the southern city of Tyre killed at least 8 people and wounded 32 others on Tuesday. According to the state-run national news agency, the strike took place shortly before Israel's military issued an evacuation warning for Tyre and the surrounding areas, urging residents to leave ahead of further attacks. And residents of South Lebanon's Tyre, including the Christian quarter, fled on Tuesday after Israel's army, for the first time, warned the entire city to evacuate ahead of strikes. The warning came a day after Iran, which insists a halt to the wider Middle East conflict must include a ceasefire in Lebanon, warned it would resume attacks on Israel if it kept striking its neighbor. Israel has repeatedly struck the coastal city of Tyre since the latest war erupted with the Hezbollah, following the Iran-backed group's rocket fire on the 2nd of March to avenge the killing of Iran's supreme leader. US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that Iran and Israel have halted fresh hostilities and negotiators are in the final stages of a major West Asia peace agreement, predicting a deal within 2 or 3 days.
Final throes of what will be a very, very good deal that will not allow in any way, shape, or form nuclear weapons, etc. And the Strait will open up right away. It'll open up immediately upon signing, which could be in 2 or 3 days.
Earlier, Iran and Israel have announced a pause in their military operations against each other following a rapid escalation of hostilities over Sunday and Monday. Both sides said that they are halting the latest round of fire, but also warned that they would retaliate if struck again. Now, this has come hours after Iran's armed forces said that they had stopped operations following the delivery of a painful response to Israel. Later on Monday, Iran's main military command, the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, issued a statement announcing a halt to strikes against Israel. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has conveyed deep concern over the Israeli decision to close key crossings in Gaza and suspend the entry of humanitarian and commercial supplies. Citing the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, UN spokesperson Farhan Haq emphasized that people in Gaza rely on a steady flow of humanitarian and commercial goods from outside. Haq added that the UN and humanitarian partners work hard to maintain a sustained and predictable flow of supplies despite restrictions. He further conveyed Guterres' deep concern by the decision to close Kerem Shalom and Rafah crossings and suspend the entry of supplies into Gaza. Now, back in the U.S., a federal judge has struck down a $100,000 fee that U.S. President Donald Trump had imposed on new H-1B visas for highly skilled foreign workers. The court concluded that it constituted an unlawful tax that the Congress never authorized. The administration argued that the fee constituted a lawful monetary penalty that the president was authorized to impose under federal immigration law. But the judge concluded that the fee was not a penalty but a tax that the Republican president lacked any authorization from Congress to issue, and that the U.S. State Department and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services could not implement. The judge cited the U.S. Supreme Court's February ruling, striking down Trump's sweeping tariffs he pursued under a law meant for use in national emergencies only. White House spokesperson Taylor Rogers in a statement said the Trump administration is confident this order will be reversed on appeal. Now, the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues to intensify with a Russian strike on the eastern Ukrainian city of Chuguiv, killing at least 3 people, including a pregnant woman. As fighting persists on the ground, diplomatic efforts remain in focus. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was welcomed by Estonian Prime Minister Kristen Michal upon his arrival at the Nordic-Baltic Summit in Tallinn. Addressing a joint presser alongside his Estonian counterpart Alar Karis, Zelensky called for Europe to play a stronger role in peace negotiations.
Europe needs a strong, real voice in the peace talk, and to be among those making the decision. America is ready to get involved actively in the diplomatic process. I discussed this yesterday with the representative of US President.
And earlier, Zelensky held talks with Finnish Prime Minister Petteri Orpo on strengthening Ukraine's air defense capabilities and expanding drone cooperation. Meanwhile, the Kremlin has said that there are currently no plans for talks between US President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, though contacts between American negotiators on both the sides continue.
You know that President Putin and President Trump, if needed, hold phone conversations. Such conversation can be arranged quite quickly. At the moment, there is no such conversation on the agenda, especially since every such conversation should be well prepared. Now, as you have correctly noted, the mediation process on Ukraine is on hold.
The European Union is preparing a fresh round of sanctions against Russia as the conflict in Ukraine continues. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has announced that the proposed 21st sanctions package will target key sectors including energy, banking and fisheries. Describing these as areas with the highest impact, von der Leyen said the measures are aimed at further weakening the economic foundations of Russia's war effort, adding that existing sanctions continue to exert significant pressure on Moscow.
Today we are putting forward the 21st sanctions package. We focus on the sectors with the highest impact, that is energy, it is financial services and crypto, trade, and this time it includes for the very first time fisheries, and we are banning the entry of former Russian combatants into the European Union.
NATO has showcased its military readiness on the alliance's eastern flank, with multinational forces conducting live fire and drone warfare exercises in Slovakia. The drills featured urban combat training, heavy armor operations and close combat exercises involving troops from several allied nations. NATO says the exercises are aimed at strengthening deterrence and ensuring collective defense amid ongoing security concerns arising from the war in Ukraine. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Asia's longest road tunnel above 10,000 feet at Zojila Pass moves closer to completion after final breakthrough blast. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi said to surpass Jawaharlal Nehru as India's longest continuously serving elected Prime Minister, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu has hailed his 12-year tenure as a period of renewed national confidence, cultural pride and global recognition. In an op-ed published ahead of the milestone, Naidu emphasized that Prime Minister Modi combined civilizational confidence with modern governance, giving India renewed pride and a stronger global position. India's identity and strategic relevance have been restored, enabling the country to engage with the world as an equal among major powers. PM Modi integrates India's aim, promoting global recognition of Indian traditions. The past decade has seen India rise from the world's fifth largest to fourth largest economy, driven by governance focused on conviction, execution and technological initiatives. Key initiatives include those like PM Jan Dhan, Aadhaar integration, UPI and direct benefit transfer, leading to one of the largest financial inclusion exercises in history. Technology and digital governance have reduced poverty, leakage in welfare systems and inefficiencies, bridging India's economic divide and accelerating social transformation. Investments in infrastructure, that is highways, ports, airports, freight corridors, railways, renewable energy and manufacturing, are shaping India's long-term growth. Naidu also highlighted the importance of cooperative federalism, noting that states now have more space to innovate and grow, with Andhra Pradesh benefiting from development-oriented projects. Andhra Pradesh CM also concluded that India is at a defining moment, combining confidence, aspiration and collective resolve to march steadily towards the goal of a developed India by 2047. Union Home Minister Amit Shah launched the Land Port Management System, or the LPMS, a certified digital platform developed to modernize and streamline operations across India's land ports. During the event, new stakeholder accommodation facilities like Dokilan Port and Srimantapur Land Port were also inaugurated to improve amenities for security personnel and other users. LPMS is a state-of-the-art digital platform designed to integrate operations across land ports into a unified system. Speaking at the inauguration of the Land Port Management System, Home Minister Amit Shah said that while the concept of land ports originated from security concerns, Prime Minister Modi's vision had transformed them into instruments of secure trade, people-to-people connectivity and cultural exchange.
लैंड पोर्ट अथॉरिटी की कल्पना एक प्रकार से सुरक्षा को लेकर चिंता में से ज्यादा उपजी थी, परंतु नरेंद्र मोदी जी की संकल्पना ने उसको सुरक्षा का पहला कवच तो बनाया ही बनाया, व्यापार को सुगम बनाकर ज्यादा सुरक्षित बनाने का भी काम किया, दोनों ओर के देशों की जनता के बीच में एक संपर्क सेतु का भी काम लैंड पोर्ट किस तरह से कर सकते हैं उसका भी ये कल्पना में अलग डायमेंशन जोड़ा गया।
Now, in a major milestone for India's infrastructure, the excavation of the iconic Zojila tunnel has achieved its final breakthrough. After inspecting the project plan outside the construction site, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari triggered the last blast on Tuesday, completing the tunnelling phase of the ambitious project. The minister was accompanied by Lieutenant Governor of J&K, Manoj Sinha. The 13.153 kilometer single tube bidirectional tunnel, located at an elevation of 11,578 feet, will be the world's longest and highest such road tunnel. It connects Baltal in Kashmir Valley's Sonmarg with Meenamarg in Ladakh's Dras Kargil by passing the treacherous Zojila Pass. Work on the tunnel began in April in the year 2021 from both ends. Once operational, the tunnel will provide all-weather connectivity on the Srinagar-Kargil-Leh highway, ending months-long winter closure caused by heavy snow and avalanches. The BRICS Agriculture Working Group meeting has commenced in Indore, and it will be on till the 11th of June, bringing together delegates from member nations to deliberate upon key issues related to sustainable agriculture, food security, technology and rural development. In a special conversation with DD India, Joint Secretary in the Agriculture Ministry Ajit Kumar Sahu spoke about the agenda of the meetings.
Agriculture Working Group and Ministerial meeting is going on in Indore. We are with us Ajit Kumar Sahu, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. Sir, what are the main issues which are discussed in this meeting?
See, agriculture is very important agenda in the BRICS countries because they are major producer and the consumer of the agriculture product, and nearly half of the population reside in these countries together. So a lot of issues and challenges which the currently agriculture is facing, those would be discussed, and it will be discussed how the agriculture should be developed for the future, and what intervention policies and programs should be brought in so that agriculture is ready for the future challenges.
Sir, today geopolitical issues and South Asia, West Asia's issue, how AI and smart agriculture topic is important for the BRICS countries?
See, technology is one of the major enabler and one of the major intervention through which we can leap over the current challenges. So every country is trying to use technologies, especially the new technology which are coming. India has already started AgriStack, and a lot of new activities are being undertaken under the digital agriculture initiatives, like AI-enabled Bharat Vistar has been launched. Similarly, other countries are also using these technologies. So technology is one of the important cooperation which would be discussed during these meetings.
With Counterperson Gaurav, Aditya Srivastav, DT India.
Former Sri Lankan Deputy Minister Sarna Guruvardhana was sentenced to 16 years of rigorous imprisonment after being found guilty on 4 corruption charges by the Colombo High Court. The conviction was related to the procurement of vehicles on a rental basis while Guruvardhana served as chairman of the Development Lotteries Board in 2006. The verdict and sentence were delivered by High Court Judge Mohammad Mihail in a case filed by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. The ruling comes as Sri Lanka's government pursues a tougher anti-corruption agenda, with authorities emphasizing accountability, transparency and stronger enforcement as part of ongoing governance and economic reforms. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of DD India Live, but we leave you on a harmonious note. In Riyadh, the Embassy of India, in collaboration with the Royal Commission for Riyadh City, celebrated the beauty of Indian classical music through a special cultural evening, Desert Harmony, Sitar Melodies. The evening was headlined by renowned sitar maestro Ustad Shujat Hussain Khan, whose soulful performance captivated audiences and showcased the enduring charm of India's rich musical heritage. Listen in and enjoy.
उसका सोचना